friends, this is me, your host. Welcome back to our channel. I hope you all are well and doing great. So today I'm back with another videos to give review on another books. If you wanted to buy any one of these best-selling books which I am giving reviews on, you can visit our Amazon page and buy. So today I'm back with another videos which are three videos we will discuss in this video, three books, and these three of them are the best-selling books of 2025. So let's see which three of these books are best-selling. First one which we're going to see today is the 25 Alive by James Patterson and Maxine Petro. Women's Murder Club number 25, a milestone crime thriller. Introduction. Celebrating our quarter-century suspense. With 25 Alive, James Patterson and his long-time collaborator Maxine Petro reach an extraordinary milestone. The 25th book in the globally popular Women's Murder Club series. What began over 2 decades ago, 2 decades ago, with First to Die has evolved into a literary phenomenon that continues to dominate the world of commercial crime fiction. Patterson's brand has become synonymous with relentless pacing, cinematic storytelling, and unforgettable female protagonists who navigate both professional and emotional turmoil with grit and compassion. Reaching a 25th volume is no small feat. Many series fade there after the first few installments, the formulas growing predictable or their characters stagnant. Yet, with 25 Alive, Patterson and Pedro prove that the Women's Murder Club still has stories to tell and emotions to stir. This entry revisits familiar themes, familiar themes, justice, friendship, loyalty, grief, but heightens them through one of the most shocking and personal tragedies in The series history, the murder of Byron Jacobi. Byron Jacobi, a character readers have come to view as a family. While some readers approach long running series skeptically, expecting creative fatigue, 25 Alive demonstrates that longevity can coexist with reinvention. It captures both the nostalgic comfort of reunion and the fresh shock of emotional loss, blending the procedural precision of a police thriller with the human heartache of character driven drama. Plot summary: The murder that changes everything. The book begins with tragedy. Warren Jacobi, retired San Francisco police chief, and Lindsay Boxer's longtime mentor and friend, is brutally murdered. For both Lindsay and readers, this event is deeply personal. Jacoby has been a pillar of the series since its earliest days, a moral compass, a gruff yet loyal colleague, and one of the few men Lindsay truly trusted. His death isn't merely a crime to solve, it's a wound that cuts into the emotional fabric of the story. Detective Lindsay Boxer immediately takes on the case. Her professional instinct varying with her personal grief. As she begins to unravel the mystery behind Jacoby's murder, she finds herself drawn into the labyrinth of deceit, corruption, and organized crime. What seems at first to be an isolated act of violence soon reveals connections to a broader conspiracy involving the city's criminal networks and potential police corruptions. Parallel to Lindsay investigation, Peterson and Petro weave multiple subplots, a hallmark of their storytelling style. Yuki Castellano, now a seasoned prosecutor, finds herself battling a legal case that may intersect with Lindsay's investigation in unexpected ways. Clearing will burn. Clearing will burn. Wash burn. The team's medical examiner facing mounting forensic contradictions as evidence from Jacoby's murder begins to point in conflicting directions. Meanwhile, journalist Cindy Thomas pursues an explosive story about political corruption that could either illuminate the truth or endanger them all. As the narrative unfolds, the threads tighten, linking Jacoby's death to a series of cartel style executions, high level betrayals, and long buried secrets. Each woman's professional role, detective, reporter, lawyer, coroner, gives the reader a different vantage point on the same truth. That justice is rarely clean and loyalty is often tested in fire. The tension builds through Patterson's trademark pacing, short, sharp chapters that story forward, often ending on mini cliffhangers. By the time Lindsay confronts the killer, the stakes are not only professional but existential. She isn't just fighting for justice, she's fighting for the soul of the institution she's dedicated her life to. Themes: friendship, integrity, and the price of truth. The Women's Murder Club series has always been about more than solving crimes. At its core, it celebrates female friendship, resilience, and moral courage in a world often hostile to both women and justice. 25 Alive continues this tradition while introducing deeper emotional resonance and moral ambiguity. Friendship as survival, one of the series' enduring themes and one of its greatest strengths, is the unbreakable bond among the four women. Their weekly gatherings, whether at Lindsay's home or their favorite restaurant, are more than casual rituals, they are acts of survivals. In 25 Alive, their friendship is tested as a grief, as a grief, secrecy, and professional boundaries collide. Lindsay's pursuit of Jacob's killer sometimes isolates her, while Clindy's investigative zeal risks alienating the others. Yet, even in moments of tension, the loyalty, the loyalty remains the heartbeat of the story. The cost of justice. Patterson and Petro explore the uncomfortable truth that justice is never free. Lindsay's grief driven determination pushes her pushes her toward dangerous moral territory. Yuki's courtroom struggles explores the flaws in the legal system while Cindy and Clary witness firsthand how truth can be manipulated by those in the power. Through these intertwined stories, 25 Alive forces readers to concern how far how far one should go in pursuit of justice. Grief and transformation. Jacob's death symbolizes the passage of time within the series. The Women's Murder Club members are no longer the young professional they once were. They are seasoned, secured, and aware of their mortality. The grief that runs through 25 Alive feels authentic and earned. Narrative style and structure. James Patterson's signature writing style, fast-paced, cinematic, and addictive, defines 25 Alive. The novel is composed of short, punchy chapters, each ending with a hook or revelation. This structure keeps the readers constantly engaged, mirroring the rhythm of television crime dramas. Patterson and Petro alternate between first person and third person narration, allowing readers intimate access to Lindsay's thought while maintaining a panoramic view of other subplots. This technique creates both immediacy and scope, balancing emotional intensity, emotional intensity with procedural precision. However, this style also comes with trade-offs. The rapid pacing sometimes sacrifices emotional depth, especially in the climax, where revelations comes fast and reputations feels slightly rushed. Yet the yet the relentless energy of the prose ensures that the readers remain hooked from the first page to the last. Conclusion: a landmark in crime fiction. 25 Alive is a worthy addition to the legacy of Women's Club Murder Club, fast paced, heartfelt, and emotionally charged. It delivers everything readers expect from a Patterson thriller: suspense, sharp dialogue, intertwined plot lines, and strong, complex female leads. But beyond entertainment, it offers it offers something deeper, a meditation on aging loss and integrity. Through Lindsay's grief and resilience, the novel reminds us that justice is not an endpoint but a continual struggle, one fought both in the courtroom and within the human heart. At its core, 25 Alive is a story about endurance of friendship, truth, and love. In a world that constantly tests all three, it's both a nostalgic tribute to the series origins, to our series origins, and a signal that Women's Murder Club still has left in it. Emotionally rich, thrilling pace, and deeply human, a fitting celebration of 25 books and the women who refuse to stop fighting for justice. So, the next book which we're going to see today in this video is A Midlife Holiday by Carrie J. Hansen. This is the another best-selling book of 2025. So, introduction. In a midlife In A Midlife, J. Hansen invites reader to step into the lives of three women who find themselves standing on the uncertain ledge of midlife. This novel, the first in Hassan's midlife trilogy, is a rich and reflective story about friendship, identity, identity, regret, and renewal. It is a book that resonates deeply with women and indeed with anyone who has ever wondered, is this all there is? With a blend of humor, vulnerability, and tenderness, Hudson paints a vivid picture of life at at 50, a time when responsibilities a time when responsibilities, disappointments, and long buried dreams converge. But does so without but she does so without judgment. Instead, she celebrates the resilience of women, the strength of friendship, and the courage it takes to discover discover one sense of self in the midst of change. The story may begin as a simple girl's trip to Cyprus, but it evolves into a profound exploration of the choices people make and the ones they still can. K. Themes and symbolism. The meaning of midlife. The title A Midlife Holiday is both literal and metaphorical. The holiday is not just a trip, it's a pause, a suspension of responsibility. Suspension of responsibility. a space in which each woman can examine who she has become and who she still might be. Hansen beautifully captures the ambivalence of midlife. It is both a time of reckoning and a time of possibility. The author refuses to treat age as decline. Instead, she portrays it as a turning point, a time for reclaiming, a time for reclaiming dreams that were once postponed for practicality, motherhood, or convention. Friendship as a mirror. The relationship between Helen, Caro, and Kay is the novel's heartbeat. Through their conversations, by turns loving, exasperating, and brutally honest, Hansen explores the complexity of long term friendship. They see one another's flaws clearly, sometimes more clearly than they had like. Yet it is through this unfiltered honesty that each woman begins to heal. Friendship is, in Hassan's world, is both sanctuary and catalyst. It is the space where truth can be spoken even when it hurts, and where change can begin. The quest for identity. Each of the three women struggles with identity in different ways. Helen's identity has been defined by marriage and motherhood, Caro's by work and independence, Kay's by service to others. The holiday forces them to confront how much of their lives have been shaped by external expectations. This theme resonates especially with readers who have spent years fulfilling roles as wives, mother, professionals, or caretakers, only to wake up one day and wonder where they went. Hansen gives voice to that quiet longing to rediscover oneself. Freedom and guilt. Throughout the novel, the idea of freedom is entangled with guilt. When Helen dares to imagine a life outside her marriage, she feels guilty. She feels guilty. When Caro allows herself to consider vulnerability, vulnerability. She fears it will make her weak when Kate longs for rest. She feels selfish wanting it. The symbolism of the sea. The sea in a midlife holiday is a powerful motif. It represents vastness, renewal and the unknown. As the women swim, float, and watch the horizon, the sea becomes a metaphor for possibility, for life beyond the shores of habit. It invites them to dive into something new, to let go of control and simply be. Character analysis. Helen. Helen is the emotional center of the book. Her inner conflict between loyalty and self fulfillment forms the novel's main tension. Readers will recognize her quiet despair, quiet despair, the woman who has done everything right yet feels unseen. Caro. Caro is perhaps the most complex character. Her independence has protected her but also isolated her. As the story progresses, her secrets, which I won't spoil, adds depth to her motivations. She represents the woman's dilemma, the belief that success equals satisfaction, and the painful realization that it doesn't. Her vulnerability, when it finally emerges, is one of the most moving parts of the novel. K. K's character is a study in self erasure. Her life evolves around the needs of others, leaving her emotionally depleted. She is kind, loyal, self sacrificing, yet her story raises an important question. What happens when giving becomes your entire identity? Her emotional breakthrough during the holiday, the moment she allows herself to rest, is subtle but deeply powerful. Writing style and tone. Hassan's tone is conversational but insightful. Her dialogue is sharp and believable, full of the teasing, affection, and honesty that characterize real friendship. Her prose is also richly descriptive. The sun drenched landscapes of Cyprus are brought vividly to life. The sensory details, the feel of warm sand, the smell of sea salt, the taste of wine shared under a fading sunset ground the story in tangible emotion. One of Hassan's greatest strengths is her ability to blend humor with poignancy. Even in moments of sadness, she finds wit. She finds wit. The book never becomes heavy handed or self pitying. Instead, it feels like a conversation with an old friend. Conclusion. Carrie J. Hassan's A Midlife is more than a story about three women on vacation. It's a celebration of renewal. It captures the essence of what it means to reach a crossroads and to realize that the second half of life can be most honest and fulfilling part yet. For that reason, a midlife holiday is both comforting and empowering. A warm, sunlit novel that lingers long after the last page. The last book which we're going to see today in this video is another best-selling book for 2025 is The Mysterious Bakery on Rue de Paris by Evie Gauguin. Evie Gauguin's The Mysterious Bakery on Rue de Paris is a charming, bittersweet novel that blends mystery, history, romance, and a touch of magical realism. Set in a small French town ju- just outside Paris, it tells the story of a woman seeking purpose and belonging after years of grief and self sacrifice. The book invites readers to slow down, breathe in the scent of fresh baguettes and sugar dusted pastries, and explore what it means to start over when life seems to have passed you by. Though at the first glance it appears to be a cozy, romantic mystery centered on a quaint bakery, centered on a quaint bakery. The mysterious bakery on Rue de Paris unfolds into something much deeper. A meditation on healing, identity, and the of the enduring echoes of the past. With vivid settings, complex emotional undertones, and a narrative that gently intertwines the present with the supernatural of remnants of history. Kogan's novel captures the delicate balance between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Synopsis: the story follows Eddie Lane, a quiet, self effacing woman in her 30s who leaves her home in Ireland after the death of her mother. 4 years, Eddie had been her mother's caretaker, a role that gave her purpose but also kept her confined. When the chapter ends, she is left with a sense of emptiness. In search of new beginning, she applies for a job as an assistant in bakery. One she mistakenly believes to be in Paris. Upon arrival, however, Eddie discovers that the bakery is not in Paris, but in a small, picturesque town called Compiègne. There she meets Madame Maury, the stern, secretive owner of La Boulangerie Patisserie de Compiègne, and her teenage grandson Manu, who helps runs the place. Despite the warmth of despite the warmth of freshly baked bread and pastries, there is something strange about the bakery. Eddie is given a room in the attic above the shop, but soon begins to hear strange sounds at night: whispers, footsteps, the unmistakable creak of someone moving below in the basement. Madame Moreau forbids her from entering the bakery's lower floor or meeting the elusive baker who supposedly works there late at night. Curiosity, however, gets the better of Eddie and she begins to uncover fragments of the bakery mysterious part. An old recipe book dating back to World War II, faded photographs, and hints of a tragedy involving the town's wartime history. As she pieces together these clues, as she pieces together these clues, Eddie becomes entangled in the life of Cam- Compiègne, forming friendships with locals such as Nicole, a public cafe owner, and Johnny, a musician who encourages her to embrace life again. She also develops a tender romance with Hugo, a kind hearted historian. Historian who helps her uncover the truth about the bakery's past. The story unfolds with Eddie discovering that the bakery is haunted not just by ghosts but by memories. Memories of love, loss, resilience from a time when the world was fractured by war. The mysterious baker's identity becomes a symbol of redemption and forgiveness. By the novel's end, Eddie's find not only in writing style and tone. Abby Gogon's writing style is lyrical yet accessible. Her tone balances whimsy and melancholy, humor with heartache. The novel unfolds at a slow, deliberate pace, mirroring Addie's emotional awakening. The prose is rich. The prose is rich with metaphor and imagery, particularly particularly around food, memory, and time. The tone remains optimistic even when dealing with sorrow. Kogan's voice invites readers to find beauty in imperfection and strength in gentleness. The novel structure, alternating between present day life in the bakery and glimpses of its wartime past, adds depth and intrigue, creating a layered reading experience. Strengths of the novel: evocative sense of place. The small town French setting is beautifully realized, full of sensory and emotional texture, emotional resonance. The book deals with universal emotions, loss, loneliness, hope, in a compassionate way. Gentle magical realism. The ghostly mystical aspects are subtle, poetic, not overwhelming. Character growth: Eddie's transformation feels earned and authentic. Uplifting message: despite its melancholy moments, the book ultimately offers hope, reminding readers that healing often comes in unexpected ways. Conclusion: in the mysterious bakery on crafts a heartwarming tale about transformation, memory, and the quiet miracles of everyday life. It's a story that nourishes the soul, much like the bread and pastries that fill its pages. With its blend of mystery, magic, and humanity, it stands as both a comfort read and a meditation on the ways the past shapes the present. Adeline's journey from loss to self discovery reminds us that healing often begins in the most unexpected places, and that sometimes to find ourselves we must lose everything familiar, tender, evocative, and quietly profound. The mysterious bakery on Rue de Paris, with the comforting belief that it's never too late to rewrite the recipe of one's life. So, this is all we have from these three of the books, all of three of them, the best selling books. I hope you guys like the books. If you did, don't forget to press the like button. I'll be back with another videos with another books to give a review on. Till then, just take care and goodbye.